Hey, so welcome everybody. Delighted you're here for creative well-being. So the main focus of creative well-being is that we're looking after mental and emotional health through movement. So it's always about bringing the fun and dynamism of expression into what you're doing, whether that is for yourself or with the children that you work with. So first thing I'm going to do is ask, if you can have your camera on, it's great. It's much nicer to talk to a person than a screen. And I'm saying shake it off, because if you can put your phones on flight mode and close all the windows on your computer, that would be wonderful. Because I know myself, when I'm on something like this, it's so easy to get distracted. So literally shake it off, turn everything off, everything that you don't need. And then in the goodwill of shaking it off, we're going to have a little shake it off ourselves. We've all had a busy work day, and we're just going to stand up wherever you are, and we're just going to shake. We're going to shake out our wrists, shake out our elbows, our shoulders, our head. Take your arms out to the side, keep bouncing, and bring your arms into the air, and just let the ripple effect from your hands down through your spine into your feet. And you're not jumping, you're just bouncing. So your feet are grounded, your ankles are soft. And we go 3, 2, 1, and then just let yourself drop. And just swing your arms, swing your body. Just let yourself move whatever way feels good for you. Hips, shoulders, limbs, head, circling, spiraling, snaking, all of this movement, moving and moving, getting into the shoulders. Empty your brain, put your ear to one side and let everything rush out. And then over to the other side, drop your ear to your shoulder, let everything rush out. And I always say I'm not like any other teacher, because I encourage sighing and yawning in my classes. So I encourage you to do that too, because it's a great sign of letting go of stress. So one last time, bring your arms up, open your chest, inhale. And as you exhale, curl your body in really small into the center. And then expand again, outwards, outwards, outwards. Really big and bright like a star. And then last time, curling in. And this time, as you curl in, wrap your arms around yourself. Hold on to your body, your chest. Drop your chin into your chest. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and just have a moment to rest and relax. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, slowly letting go. Once more, deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly letting go. Good. And rub your shoulders, rub your arms, brush down your arms, underside of your arms, armpit, back of the shoulder blades, heart, and then the face. Brush out your face. And then all the time, encouraging yourself to sigh. The heart and the belly, giving both of them a rub. Every exhale, let it be a sigh. Don't hold on to anything. This is your opportunity to soften and relax. Great. And then come to whatever seated position is good for you, that you can still see the screen. And just let your hands rest on your body. Close your eyes. And just let yourself soften into this moment. Breathing in. And just noticing how your body is feeling right now. What are you aware of? And trying not to change anything, just be with what is. And just letting your full awareness be with whatever your experience is now. Maybe you notice the pulse of your heart, the flow of your breath. Maybe you notice your shoulders rising and dropping. Or maybe you notice your mind is so busy that you can't just be here and now. If that is the case, hold on to one of your hands and just feel the touch of your own hand and let that reassure you, ground you, help you find a little bit of comfort. Closing the eyes, safe in your own home space. And every exhale is just allowing the energy of your day to just settle. And you can feel into the vibrations, the different dance that you may be feeling up in the upper body, the head, maybe the belly, our second brain. And then what science now calls the small brain within the heart. Just letting yourself settle. And if your hands are resting on your body, just notice the temperature of your hands against your body. Gently bring your eyes back and just notice where your attention goes straight away. What's your habit? Can you still be within, while also aware outside? So I want to welcome you all. It's such a lovely mix of people. We have teachers, educators, special needs assistants, some key workers, nurses, community resource officers. It's a lovely mix of people. And I suppose what we all have in common is that we did the quick quiz at the start, and I'll open it again later so you can fill it in if you want. We're all coming from different areas now, bringing all our resources together, but with the challenges of COVID and our own health within the workplace being an extra layer of anxiety for some of us. What we do have in common is the fact that we're all working with children for the most part. I hope you can see my screen okay. If for any reason you can't, you can let me know. So we're all empaths, as they say, compassionate. We care about kids and we really want to make them all feel that they're able, confident and happy. Finding new ways of communicate, build trust and support them. And so I'm imagining, as most of us, majority of us are educators or in healthcare, we're all willing to do what we can to help the kids, knowing that it's helping future generations. And I'm imagining with the majority of teachers that we all love learning. And if you weren't interested in creativity, I don't think you'd be here. So I think you're in the right place. So the other thing that we share, unfortunately, is the fact that we have been a bit more limited in our sense of contact between client, patient or student. Most of us have no staff rooms, confined to your work, your play area. I know for some teachers in particular, you're limited to your classroom space. And then the contact between kids gets even more limited. So looking at behavioral changes that you're all experiencing in school environment, and then your own concern about your health is something that a lot of teachers have fed back to me and people who work in healthcare. And a lot of you I saw in the quiz have mentioned insomnia and tension in your body. So all of this is normal, but unfortunately for us, okay, I jumped ahead there. Fortunately for us, we know that when we're feeling the stress in our body, we can easily transmit it to somebody else. And I'm sure you've seen that yourself when we're basically, the kids are mirroring what they're experiencing through us. And I have a little anecdote. You'll see in a moment, but I work with, or I have worked up to date, pre-COVID, with so many people with different additional needs. And one of these groups that I've worked with for 5 years now are those who are deafblind. So they have no sense of communication skill other than touch, and some of them have very basic ISL. So with this group of people, the power of your presence is just so important, as you can understand, because that is everything to them. That is how they feel through your touch, what you're communicating, the level of your engagement and your attention to them. So there was an activity where a key worker was passing a ball to the participant, and as they were kind of playing together, at one point the key worker's phone went off and they got distracted. And so rather than looking at the person when they were passing the ball, they were kind of half interested and half passing the ball. But then the participant who was deafblind just stopped, and they were like, well, I'm not going to play with you if you're only half playing with me. So we have to be so aware of our presence and the power of our attention. And we all know that. We've seen through the lockdown that kids are just, you know, just joyous in the fact that they can have more time with their parents, right? And obviously there's a few different things in that regard, but when we're able to give the attention to our children, isn't that the best gift that you can give? And so I hope this is all resonating with you. I can't see you all, so I'm just feeling the good vibes through the screen. So who am I and what am I all about? So just a brief one. My background is I've been dancing since I was 4, and I've been training and performing in theatre and dance kind of venues and festivals over the years. And so it's a mix of different projects. It's brought me to lots of different places, but all the time, the thing that was for me the key to my own well-being was the contact with my body, the ability to express emotions through my body, to understand how I feel, and to be able to process things that maybe didn't have words, you know, which also comes to this nonverbal communication piece. So I think emotional health is something that we aren't the best at working with, and it may be a cultural thing, but we're talking about mental health, but we're still to talk about emotional health. And that's a big aspect of what I teach people how to do, and how to bring it in a creative and fun way that's not threatening or fearful, you know, which it can be. It's so my dance has brought me to a lot of places, but while I was dancing, I was always continuously interested in holistic well-being. So I was studying so many different techniques over the last 10 years, from yoga to energy work to tension and trauma release, life coaching, family constellation work, and somatic movement, Feldenkrais, a lot of other things, but they're the top headers. And you see there's this photo of me in India recently, and that's just reflecting how I practice what I preach. And I think that's really important. And coming back to that idea of, as teachers, as role models, we really need to be reflecting the skills we want our teachers or our students to learn, right? So I'm hoping that this program I'm sharing with you is going to help you in that. So this is just a little color of the type of work that has been going on recently for me or in the past. So they're a Zoom workshop with kids, the little ones there, you can see them in the top corner. The work with the Deaf Blind Centre, where we're communicating non-verbally, and down there some camps that I used to do with kids a few years ago, and then transitioned to full-time in schools and working with teachers and parents. And then above is a project called Running Blind, which is something I started 5 years ago. It's a national danceability project. So basically I was giving, I had the idea to make dance accessible to people with vision loss, and then it extended to people with different visual, hearing, the deaf-blind, and those with who may be wheelchair bound, etc. So you can see how the work evolved, and I ended up working with such a variety of different people over the years, and they've really informed my practice and my learning. So you're all here and you're probably wondering more about what creative well-being is. I kind of touched on it there, but it's blending the best of everything that I've learned over the years and bringing in the latest science, looking at traditional methods, I don't teach yoga exercise. I look to traditional frames and philosophies and looking at key approaches to working with the body and through the body. So I could talk for hours about any one of these topics, but I just want to give you an overview for now. So one thing I will mention is trauma. In COVID times, we are all experiencing trauma. We may not realize it, but it's happening on such a low, consistent level. If you watch the news, you know, you're experiencing something going through your system. That current, that energy through the body has as an effect on the long term. It is, you probably see it yourself if you're feeling that you're on edge a little more, or you're not sleeping as well at night. But for children in particular, they have great ways of down regulating. They just need to be encouraged to try them. Actually, as adults, we have forgotten how to do these things. So hopefully this is resonating a bit with you as I talk. But one of the things just want to mention now while I think about it is when a child is in shock, they tend to like go up here and they might have a little shake or, you know, this kind of feeling. And nod at me if you do, so I feel like you're listening to me, because I can see a few faces. Thank you. it helps. So anyway, when they're feeling this kind of thing, they kind of go into the shake reflex, and that is our natural body's ability to down-regulate and process. And so a key part of my mission is helping people to trust their own natural abilities. Actually, this is where the children start teaching you, right? So it goes both ways in this program. You will be learning as much about yourself as you will be learning the skills to support children. So I just wanted to mention the trauma release work, because I think it's really pivotal to what we're experiencing right now. And these are skills you'll learn, some of which will be in the foundation program that I'm teaching. So anyway, we're looking at the whole person. So that means the physical, mental, and emotional, but also the spiritual health of a person. And I always reiterate that word, because sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not signed up for that kind of thing. And spiritual, all that means is knowing who you are, what you want to be doing, and what is your mission in life. And really, everybody wants to know these things, right? And it's not about airy-fairy. It's actually just thinking, how do I align with what I really want? So again, I'm just reiterating the fact that while you're learning about how to bring these skills to children, you're also going to be learning so much about yourself in your own personal development. So I mentioned this is like an accessible program working with so many diverse groups since 2015, and so much so it was in schools and special needs centres, the two areas that I can't physically be in now, and hence that's why this online program has come to the fore, so that I can actually still be sharing and helping the community when I actually can't be there myself. So you teachers are the vehicles, and there's some of the organizations that I worked with there so that you can see. And so why are you here? I'm imagining that the few of you that got the email or the WhatsApp from a teaching friend, you're interested in making a difference. You're interested in bringing more joy and fun to kids in whatever the environment you work in. You want to find new ways to communicate. You want to be more present with yourself so that you can help others. And it is true, you have to practice what you preach. And if you are looking after your own well-being, only then can you help somebody else. And that's a fact, and we all absolutely know that. And as I said before, children are great mirrors when we're not doing that. And that's why I say here that you have to care for yourself before you can sustainably care for others. And sustainability is something that I talk about a lot within my program, because it's the one thing doing something, but how can we sustain it? So, and just check if you're not on mute there. There's one person not on mute and I can't find you. So yes, so you are the role models. Whatever your profession is now, you are the role model. And we need to always keep that in mind. So when I do the parent workshops, it can be a bit of a challenge, because I talk to the parents about how their children are actually mirroring problems within perhaps the parent or the family dynamic. So it's just really being responsible. That's kind of what it comes back to. So never just kind of thinking that it goes one way. We have to really see how we can reflect what we want that child to be learning. And I say stress is a habit. It's something that we've learned. So only through a program where we are going through something and reiterating, reframing, and reprogramming the nervous system in our body, and that's literally what happens. I'd say all of my work is somatic based, and that works through the nervous system of the body. So it's only when we're working at the depth of the nervous system can we really create a new pattern of health, of vitality through the body. And again, I could talk for hours about that. And I invite you all to try my somatic movement class on Wednesdays so that you can actually get a taster for that. I'm one of the only people in Ireland that teaches this online that I know of, and it's just mind-blowing. And I say that not as a teacher, I say that as someone that has experienced it from both a healing perspective, also that sustainability piece, how to feel better every day and in your body, how to feel fluid and easy and graceful, that the energy and the movement just comes to you, that there's not aches and pains staying with you. So again, somatic movement, highlight it because it's really like one of the most effective ways of bringing ease and health to your body and your mind. And one last thing I'll say about that, and I tend to give too much information, but you're a lot of your teachers, so hopefully you enjoy this. And when you think of exercise and things like this is kind of more superficial. You're working on the level of the muscles, and it's like a muscular lengthening that happens. But in somatic movement, we say that it's a cortical lengthening. You're literally reprogramming from the brain down into the body. And again, I could talk endlessly about neuroscience, but we'll move on to the next part. So the key to what I'm saying here is that we have to be resourceful and self-caring in order for our students to learn that too. So empowered self-care. So it's all about you not needing to look to somebody else, you taking on the skills, practicing it for yourself so that you can bring it to others. And when you do that for you, you also do that for your family, because everybody is benefiting from you looking after yourself. So what do I mean by empowered self-care? It is having the awareness and the self-compassion to be able to shift your mindset when you see that something's not working for you. How to do something differently if there's something going on and you're like, okay, I actually just have to change this pattern. Learning from yourself and your experience constantly, not taking anything for granted, being responsible, having ownership for whatever your experiences are. And that's probably the biggest piece, being responsible and not putting blame or judgment on someone else, but always looking at how can I change my experience, because your experience is owned only by you. So it's all about resourcing ourselves so that we can feel better. So today, and the purpose of our chat today, as you know, it's an introduction, and I'm giving you insight into creative well-being. I've given you the background to it now and all the different skills that come into that, and emphasize how much it is about your personal self-care and how that is going to bring both benefits to both your personal and professional life. Did a bit of movement earlier to de-stress from our day, and then we'll be doing some more to refresh the mind and body. We'll be doing some self-soothing techniques, because now you cannot be in contact with as many people, right? And the students maybe don't have much contact between each other. So looking, how can we self-soothe? How can we support the child or the person with additional needs that needs some care and attention, but you maybe can't be giving that, but you can guide them to it. So again, self-soothing is a huge, huge topic. I could do a whole workshop on that, but we'll touch on one practice. I've talked a little about nonverbal communication. We'll go into a bit more, and emotional health I mentioned earlier. So play is the highest form of research. Albert Einstein said that, and I am the biggest advocate of that. I think that is why the focus is on the creative well-being. It's not just one aspect. It's not just you teaching. It's you being able to read the body, read the energy of what the dynamic is going on for the child, the person in front of you, and to try and feel into that and work with what is there. So you're always engaging in a practice. You're never dictating or directing. Does that make sense? Give me a nod if it does, yeah? So we all know the difference. Thanks. And I think being playful brings lightness to everything, right? It makes learning fun. So, okay, so here we are, has some stuff already shaken off, so you're already sitting and rested and relaxed. And what I want you to do is to just find yourself in a comfortable position, sitting upright. If you need to lean against the wall, and you're just going to close your eyes again. And just notice for yourself, when your eyes are closed, do you prefer to have a hand on the body? Where on the body, if you like a hand on your body? And just allowing yourself to rest and settle. And I want you to just notice what part of the body you're aware of. Most likely it's a part of the body that you're touching, in contact with. And then notice what part of your body do you feel a little disassociated from? Disconnected, numb. Can you feel your middle toe? Can you send your awareness all the way down to your middle toe? Lovely. This stretching of perception, just noticing how this is for you now at the start. And I want you to just notice wherever your hand is in contact with your body, wherever that may be, just notice the temperature under your hand. And then I want you to just scan the body and see, can you notice a few different temperatures in different parts of your body? Just let your awareness zoom into different places, one at a time. And you don't have to put words on your experience. You're just zooming, feeling, noticing, absorbing that information through your cells, your sensory receptors. And then zooming somewhere else in the body, maybe somewhere a little abstract like your elbow or your fingernail. What do you notice? Find one more part in your body where the temperature is different. And then as you exhale next time, just let your awareness soften. And now I want you to bring your attention to your hearing. And just letting yourself notice the noises around you. And again, taking one noise at a time, being so fully with it, allowing each noise to bring you into this sense of awareness. And once you've listened to one noise, find another. And maybe it's more subtle, even the sound of static electricity, that you have to stretch your hearing, open the cells to be more receptive. And then let yourself find one more sound in your environment. And now just allowing your awareness to settle. And we move to bring our awareness to texture. And for most of us, we're wearing different layers of clothing. And just see where you feel guided to, noticing the contact of your skin with the surface of your clothing. Again, picking one part. Be curious, playful, and interested. I have a great teacher, and he always says, your interest is your responsibility. Just notice how your listening body, your soma, the Latin word for body, whole body, is tuning in, expanding in its awareness. And slowly bring yourself to another part where there's a different texture. Maybe it's your bare skin against the floor, a blanket, or that little peak of skin that's feeling cool air. And then bring yourself to one more spot and challenge yourself. See maybe about the texture of the eyelid, the hair against the ear, eyebrow against the skin. And then on your next exhale, just let yourself soften and let that go. And we'll do one more research. And I want you to just notice what part of your body within you is calling. What part of the body can you really feel into or notice? And it could be just a tiny detail. And notice that when you give your body this open permission, how the body can sometimes become louder. You may notice your heartbeat in a different way. your pulse, and find another body part. Maybe it's a place where there's an ache or a pain, or where there's a lightness. Whatever it is, just notice what part does your body take you to. And can you give yourself permission to just experience that? Lovely. And then I want you to breathe in. And as you breathe in, just imagine you're dropping down. The breath comes through the nostrils, and as you exhale, it's like the breath is going down the slide through the body, down the spine, and dropping anchor into the earth. And just let the whole skin of your body soften, and just feel like your center of your body is stilling, settling, plugging into the earth. So this practice can be really nice when you're supporting somebody that's having a lot of anxiety. Also, if someone is overwhelmed and has a lot of worry and fear going on, it's really nice for them to come out of the mental state and come into somatic awareness, coming into the felt sensation. I mentioned the anchor and the earthing practice. It's something that I would focus in one module alone. And I talk about how there is only one way to release anxiety, and that is by opening and allowing the body to drop it down into the earth. So most of us hold on to it and we don't let it release. So again, it's a wonderful topic that I would share further with you. So for now, just feel your body, bring your hands to anywhere in your body, and just help yourself slowly integrate back into this moment. Take your time. Notice what's going on for you. If you're one of those people that just jumps into the next thing or is busy remembering something, notice your own personality. Give yourself love and compassion by just being fully aware now. And just bring your hands somewhere in your body, take a breath in, and just be grateful for yourself for being here. Yeah, good. I see that through. Naturally, we're people that want to help and learn, so sometimes we just push ourselves a little far. So there we go. That's a nice transition. Learning is fun, and that's what I've been talking about so far. So just to give you a little idea of the things that I would be bringing. So September, essentially the kickoff is now. It was to be earlier with COVID, that didn't happen. And then in October, it'll be going into more of these practices that you can do these practices within the classroom setting or the one-to-one setting that will provide different resources for different needs of your groups and your students. And all fun, playful, dynamic, and engaging. In November, I focused specifically on anxiety, and that is, I've mentioned trauma and the residues that when anxiety is left without dispersing and releasing, it really does have a negative effect over time. So we really need to focus on what we can do for our own selves and then with the children that we work with. So I mentioned self-soothing techniques. That is a huge part of the anxiety, because when we have the touch of another, it can naturally help us relax and ground, etc. And anyone that works with special needs children or adults knows that touch is so important, especially with anyone with sensory loss. So this idea of how can we soothe through their own directed experience of touch and bringing contact to their own body. So I call this practice informed touch. And again, it's something I go into more detail. December before Christmas, what a lovely time to be looking at self-care and compassion, mindfulness, and the role of the heart. And again, I'll be bringing in some of the science around heart energy and how that affects our well-being. So speaking of the heart, I have a beautiful practice for you, and I'll just give you a little taster of that now. So what you're going to do is you're going to rest your hands on your knees, and if you're sitting cross-legged or on a chair, maybe your hands are just on your lap. And you're just going to breathe in and fill your heart with the breath. And as you exhale, just let your heart soften. So just fill with the breath. Close your eyes if you can. And as you exhale, just soften your chest. One more breath in. There's a few busy brains. As you exhale, just let your brainwaves settle. So the coherence, the brainwaves of the upper body and the heart are very different, and I won't go into it now, but what we want to do is want to move from the head into the heart. So sometimes the best way to do that is through touch. So we're going to be combining a few different practices, breathwork, yoga, and one from a heart coherence technique. So you're going to take your left hand and you're going to bring your left hand up the arm of your right arm. So my left hand goes up my right arm, inhaling. Do it with me to the heart. Change your hand. Exhale, brush your hand down your other arm. Inhale up. Great, I notice a yawn. That's lovely. Yawning is a great sign. Exhale, so keep going. Again, I could talk about yawning. So they say that a yawn brings extra space to the heart wall. So it actually is so wonderful. So encourage your students to yawn. Let me let this person in. So as you're going, you're guiding your inhale up the arm. Oh, another yawn, great. Change hands, exhale down the other side. Inhale up. And exhale down. So you can close your eyes once you have the pattern. So you're inhaling up, you feel the contact of your touch, your hand, the warmth. Exhaling down. So you're coordinating your breath with your movement. And we start on the left and we'll finish on the left as well, because we're really allowing ourselves to nurture ourselves. So this soothes the nervous system. If I was to start on the other side, it would have a very different effect. Lots of yawns, keep going, you're doing great. So this is why you need it as much as the children. So as you're doing this, you're guiding your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Inhale a little longer if you can. When your hands change at your heart, really be mindful of the heart energy, and then brushing down the arms. So the hands, the arms are extensions of the heart, which makes sense. They're the place from which we give loving touch, soothing care. And one more time, as you brush up and over, if you're doing this practice with me and your eyes have been closed, you will be noticing that your breath is slowed down and that you're able to calm, that you're able to have a little more space in the body and the mind. And the last one, you finish and you brush off the same way that you started. So from the left hand leaves the right side. And then I just let the hands press together and just let that energy just balance through the body. So we have two sides, two currents through the body. Left and right brain, right and left body. And this also relates to meridians, energy lines through the body as well. So just let that settle in your body. So the rainbow breath, which is the name I give it, it has a Sanskrit name, but for this case, I think it's great. It's memorable. Kids relate to it. And it's soothing, it's calming, and it's really nourishing. So give me a thumbs up if you felt that that was really nice for you. Yeah. Great, lovely, lovely. Oh, so much to share. Yeah, again, learning is fun. And I think it is fun because I'm enjoy that. I enjoy the color and making it interesting. So January, emotional health. What better month could you be focusing on emotional health than January, right? It's the time of the year where depression is at its highest. We're in the darkest season of the year. So emotional health is all about movement. The reason the motion is in emotion is because it needs to move. Yeah, stuff gets stagnant, it creates a block, and it restricts us, not just in our learning, but in our potential for life, our energy levels, etc., etc. So just a beautiful workshop there. I mentioned some of the things, how to give space, create space, have a new way of understanding how to listen to your child, whether it's your own child, your student, or someone that you're supporting. February, mental well-being, again, perfect time of year for something like this when people are transitioning from that time at family to going back to work. So just powerful techniques for centering and focusing your mind. And you can see there's all kinds of practices from everywhere coming in. I have some from all my years dancing. I have resources from so many fields to just tune in and inspire these practices. And there's some methods of movement that look specifically like a lot of studies, they look at child development. And so we're looking at how the young child moves and how that relates to our capacity for mental well-being through our movement and how our body reflects our mind. So March, power of imagination for stress release. Again, the focus is creativity, and it makes sense, right? So the language of the body is actually metaphors. The body understands metaphors and visual images much better than it does words. Yeah, and I think this will make sense to all of you, but especially people who are working with those with additional needs. So give me a nod if that's true, and you can see, yeah, lovely, thank you. So it's just so powerful. I have so many practices and ways of incorporating that, and some of the things we'll talk about within that is different ways of bringing that creative practice into a place of emotional expression and stress release. And they're skills that you are going to just be grateful for your own self-development as well. So I had a good vibes practice here, but I see the time is really ticking on. So I'm going to go to the next thing, and I'll come back to that another time. So in April, looking at confidence and expanded potential, because I think, you can say that sometimes it's more in the females that you might notice it, but self-esteem is a huge thing, and we really need to be learning how to empower ourselves. And one of the big things that I notice, because I have worked so much with adults as well, I see in a one-to-one setting mostly with adults, and through different coaching therapies and hands-on work, and I see that the inhibitions in adults mainly go back to the childhood days, like almost always. And looking at how we can retain our intuition, our creative instinct, our willpower when we're a child, right? So obviously this, maybe you understand this, but as you're learning, everybody's trying to help you and guide you, right? But what happens is at a certain age, you start thinking, oh, I mustn't be doing this right, or I have to do it this way so that that person is happy, usually the adult. So you're just kind of disempowering yourself a little, and the intuitions get a little bit foggier as we get older. And I think most of us are over 30 here, or 28 anyway. So it is, though I can't tell, but just putting that out there. So it's just this idea of how to go back to your instincts, okay? And again, I actually think this is a very important thing for the facilitator, aka you guys, more than the children, because if you can do that for yourself, then you can encourage kids to keep that confidence. and inner reassurance. So I mentioned nonverbal communication, form touch earlier. So some of the techniques that I share within that module, social haptic communication, is coming from Rita and Russ Latinian, who are based in Finland and the UK, and they developed this model of communication. He is deafblind, and they just have communicate through different modes of touch, and that is absolutely inspiring, mind-blowing, and life-changing. So and it doesn't mean that it's not of relevance to you if you don't work with someone who's deafblind. It is just a game changer. We have to think differently about how we communicate and relate to each other, and this is just one of those beautiful skills that's nobody really knows about it unless you work with the deafblind, but I'm trying to bring it into movement and therapeutic models. And so then in June, you'll have done the modules, you'll have a creative fun task throughout the year that you get to do and reflect on and practice with your class or in your own personal practice. So it's a total fun program. It's not like there's any harsh deadlines or anything like that. But so just so that you're putting what you're learning into practice, I think that's important. And you know that as teachers, you're probably used to being on the other side. So body stories is one of the social haptic skills that I would be teaching in the final module. And again, our time is a little bit tight, but let me see if I can give you a little touch onto that. Does that sound interesting? Is that something that people would like to hear about? Body stories? Yeah, okay. And so most of you are still there. People haven't dropped off, so I'll take it that you're still interested and your time is spent here. Okay, so let's close the eyes. Have a breath in, sit whatever way is comfortable for you. Feel your breath in your body. And I want you to just think and imagine that you're lying in your bed and someone's telling you a bedtime story. And just maybe that gives you an association to childhood, and you're being told about the colors, the experiences, the journey, the character, the learning. And all of these concepts are being told to you through words. So another haptic method, a nonverbal method, is to communicate the story through your touch. So in order to get the absolute full benefit of this experience, make sure you're doing absolutely nothing but listening. Absolutely nothing but being so fully present in yourself that you're giving yourself the complete experience. And the longer that the eyes remain closed, the more that you're building the landscape of your inner environment, your breath, the space within your torso, the structure of your body against the floor. And I want you to just notice where your hands are in your body or in relation to your body. And choose a hand. And I want you to pick actually the hand that's your non-dominant hand. And with your non-dominant hand, I want you to slowly let your touch be the vehicle of your communication. Everything I said before, words, journey, description, everything is being communicated through your touch. And I want you to explore, how would you communicate through your touch now? Thinking of language, it has lots of colors, textures, and qualities, nouns, adjectives. Your touch has to encompass all of this vocabulary. So through your touch now, I want you to, with your non-dominant hand, begin to make a pattern against whatever body part your hand is resting. And don't decide, don't predetermine anything. And all that you know is that this is the beginning of your story. How beautiful. This is the start. This is the introduction. And then begin to bring in the character. And how does your movement, your texture on your body change? How do you express through your touch? And then this character is engaging with their environment and they're in an activity. And how does this change your movements? Do you travel to a different part of your body? Does your touch become more soft, more light, bouncy, pinchy? Is it a rubbing action, brushing, tickling? And then continue that story for yourself and just get to the middle of your story and maybe you journey to a different part of the body. Enjoy the experience. And then get to the bit before the ending. What happens? Can you just let your intuition lead you? So if you're deciding what you're doing, let that go. And that's something that you're really going to learn through working with me. How to just trust your intuition and just let yourself follow your own flow. Most of the time we just get in our own way, and I know that you'll agree with me on that. So a new texture, a new experience, and then it's the climax of the story. It's the climax. Change the tempo, the quality of your movement, your touch, play with it. Let it express through your fingers, your hand, your contact with your body. And then the dissolution, find the ending of your story or the bridge to the end. And then let that story find its place in your body to be felt, to be enjoyed and satisfied. Let it satiate your thirst for inspiration and creativity. Just let that, seal that into your body. So it's one thing you experiencing that with me guiding you verbally, but imagine experiencing this as someone who is non-verbal. And for those of you working with children and adults who are non-verbal, I'd love you to write a comment in the comment box now while it's fresh in your mind, anything you want to share about that. And I'll just give you a minute because it's a big thing moving from an experience into analytical thinking. So just take a moment and maybe all of you want to share something in the comment box. It's nice to hear what your experience or your feedback is around the body story or anything else that's really been interesting for you today. So pop any comments in the chat. This is from a school in Dublin. This is when I could be there in person, but this is what I want to be teaching you to be bringing to your school. And then there's another one. I'm only reading it now too. Calm, happy, enthusiastic, focused. Important for children to have strategies to express their feelings and cope with anxiety. Parents should be aware of these too. And then, so I've really hit on a lot of the topics that I wanted to share with you and what I promised I'd share and give you some experience of. And in terms of what I have told you, you can really see that it is not just a professional program, but that it's also about how you're going to be able to apply everything you learn to your own life. And only when you apply it to your life will you be able to bring it to your professional life. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's really like this transference. So how I have this set up is that it's a double benefit to you. And because I'm all about helping as many people as I can. And this way, helping you, I'm going to help a lot more people as we all share these well-being techniques. So it's monthly. I'm doing the workshops. I've run you through each month's different theme. Watch anytime from anywhere. So if you have friends in Australia that want to do this, or someone you know that is on sabbatical and living in Thailand, one person actually emailed me and told me that, you can absolutely just share this with people, because it's, like I said, skills for life. Great support during these challenging times we're all going through. It's always going to be giving you resources, but not only that, hopefully you've noticed now that you're feeling a little lighter in yourself, uplifted, a little softer in your own body experience. I see your heads nodding, so I'm glad to see that. So these techniques are how you can de-stress. Say you arrived to school, you had terrible traffic, and you're just like, oh, I really don't feel like teaching like 30 kids right now, or whatever it is. So, and whatever your experience is, maybe you're a counsellor and you work one-to-one with students. So if you can look after yourself within the challenges of this COVID pandemic, then you're going to be having a knock-on effect. With all of the resources you're going to get, everything is going to be available to you. So you'll have all access for the duration of the program. You'll have the library of resources, and like I said, you're going to be able to watch and rewatch and absorb the material again and again. And I'm bringing the best of the best, and I have literally spent all of my life in absorbing, learning. Personal development was clearly what I decided I wanted to do as I came into this life, because it's all I've ever done. And this area of gathering the best knowledge and just honing it towards how it can really help and benefit others, so that you can bring those skills to your own life and to all the children you work with. And then, like I said, there's very specialist areas that you could just be doing one training in that would just focus on that, but I'm going to be bringing in all of these unique specialist skills, such as a nonverbal communication and this sensory work as well. And yeah, like I said, it's going to not just add value, creativity, and hopefully a lot of fun. And so I thought, with the fun aspect, I'd share this video with you. This was one of my floor work pieces with the kids in Holy Trinity nearby. And so again, there's so much happening in this. This was probably the precursor to this was 4 different movement tasks, and incorporating something called brain gym as well. So how our movement helps the coordination of the brain and the body. So again, I hope you think that looks fun, because you'll be learning things like this too. So this, just to give you one vice principal's feedback there, that was from the school where that video was, because I did a survey in that school that year. So I didn't bribe her, but just so you can see that it had a positive impact on the school. And then again, just references help for people, they reassure people. I have infinite testimonials on my website. You can check them out, healingyoga.ie, under client testimonials. But I would have published articles in Positive Life magazine, maybe you've heard of it, and then been mentioned on TV3, the Irish Times, and the Independent for different projects and initiatives around well-being and creativity and the arts. So that's one of my special areas. Apparently I'm an antidote for all of the technology saturated lives that kids are and adults are immersed in. So hopefully it's really funny. When I made this, I was like, thought of my drama days, and you know, you want to get the gold star or the tick from your teacher. So hopefully I get a gold star from you, and that you enjoyed the tips and the tricks I've shared. You know more about well-being in terms of creative well-being, and that you see that this is an opportunity for personal and professional development. And so hopefully you feel like that lady in the photo, nice and free and excited about life. And then for all of you that want to sign up for the Wellbeing program, which I imagine, you know, that a lot of you are here because you're interested in it. If you want to sign up, super value for all that you're going to be learning, and it's really the only time that it's going to be this price as I transition all my material online. And yeah, you'll be with me until June. If you pass all your creative tasks, you'll get a certificate of completion. And then it's really simple. When you sign up today, you can do it by Revolut or bank transfer, and then I'll send you all the information, and you'll be getting the details on the recordings, how to access them. Like I said, there's a library where all the materials are going to be together. So you can look back, review things, research something, or you know, you're in December and you want to revise something from our talk today, or something in another month, you can absolutely do that. So I want to encourage you. And then another thing is that when you do the foundation program that I'm offering now, there is a teacher's toolkit that is only available to teachers who've done this training, because I'm not going to be giving out all of this information just for people to freewheel with, because you have to understand the science and the rationale behind these practices to really let them be effective and beneficial for children and adults. And so the teacher's toolkit will only be available to people that do the course, and I've just put a summary of some of the things that's going to be involved in that. So basically they are video resources, and with the video resource you can play them in the classroom, and they'll be like a 3-minute, 5-minute practice, and you'll be able to share them with the class, engage them together in any of these expression sessions, like I call them, and they'll all have different benefits and outcomes. So it means that you can turn me on so that you don't have to be directing all of these different things. So additional supports, I mentioned that on Wednesdays, every Wednesday I do a wellbeing workshop. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I am here in this home studio, and you get the opportunity to learn about somatic movement. Like I said, it is a phenomenal practice. It's something that I, having done, tested almost every movement thing that's out there, I just really, from my heart, it's made such a difference to my experience and my ease in my body. And I would already be quite graceful from all my dancing, but somatic movement is a way of really keeping a healthy body and a healthy mind. They say that the Feldenkrais technique in particular, they call it the myth of aging, because it actually slows down the aging process in the body. So as we age, this kind of muscular amnesia happens in the body. And with muscular amnesia, it means that we become disconnected from different parts of our body. I mentioned cortical lengthening earlier. So if you have a disconnection between your, I said your middle toe earlier, and you couldn't sense into that, it's about regaining these pathways, these neural pathways to brain and body. Anyway, it sounds very heavy, but it's not. I just like to explain the science. So it's a really relaxing, rejuvenating workshop, and it's accessible to everybody. So it doesn't matter what age you are, or if you have chronic pain or injury, it is brilliant for bringing ease to that. So that's a somatic movement on Wednesdays. Just send me an email and I'll send you the link to that, and it's the same link, so you can join anytime. And then the teacher well-being, I would have emailed you about that previously, and I'm doing teacher specific well-being the first Monday of every month. And the idea behind that is, again, it'll be recorded so you can watch a replay, because what I've learned from you teachers, and I know there's a mix of people, but you are predominantly teachers, is that the recordings are the best, because it's hard for you to do things live. So anyway, you can let me know about that, if that's of interest, and I customize those for workshops for schools. So if you go to the teacher wellbeing page on my website, which is healingyoga.ie/teacher-wellbeing, or Google it, you'll see 10, maybe even 20 workshops I have outlined there, and any of those workshops are available for your teaching staff, for your parents, for your school community, and I will deliver them online because obviously I cannot come to you. But there's so much resources, like I said, and just check it out. And I mentioned Crow Park hours because some of you have to do things in those hours, and I know sometimes they're not much fun. So if you want to do one of these workshops, there's a whole list of them there and you can pick what you want. The toolkit I mentioned, it's for graduates of the Creative Wellbeing Program. And if you have a question, you can stop me and you can let me know, and you can unmute yourself if there's something that you want to say or that I haven't seen. I haven't managed to find the chat button. So, and then that's my email address. So you can send me a message. If you're signing up for the program, like I said, just email me afterwards so I know, and then I'll send you all the details and the information. Like if you were to do, just to put it in perspective, if you were to learn, what I'm bringing to you is basically like bringing a yoga course, a coaching course. It's bringing like so many courses together that it is actually packaging it in a way that you're doing kind of 5 things in one, and you're learning the highest level of these practices rather than having to go through all the nitty-gritty slow learning and filtering. So I'm just grateful that it's come to fruition, but it's literally been like a PhD of at least 10 years of me really taking this knowledge, and now I'm offering it for to help others. And so if you're on Instagram or Facebook, that's me, Healing Yoga Soma. Instagram is an easy way to send me a message, so please follow. Or if you have fellow teachers, parents, you know, people that work in any of these areas that I'm talking about, please do share with them. And yeah, let them know about what I'm doing. I think it's unique, and I'm sure you guys will have some feedback for me. So I would absolutely love, one, follow me if you can, and if you want to send me a message today and just let me know how this was for you, I would really love to get your feedback, and I hope that you keep in touch. And I think that's pretty much me done, and I hope that that's kind of satisfied your appetite, that you've learned something, and it's been all you expected, and hopefully so much more.